It's 8:22 a.m. on the 11th of October 2025. In the narrow Bashi Channel between Taiwan and Luzon, the USS Princeton cuts through calm gray waves when its radar lights up multiple tracks, fast and low. Alarms echo. Crew members sprint to battle stations. From the flight deck of USS Nimitz, F divided by A-18E divided by F Super Hornets roar into the sky. Moments later, the air turns electric. EA-18G Growlers start jamming everything in range. Across the horizon, China's Shandong launches J-15, its escorts forming a tight wall. The first skirmish begins not with missiles, but with silence. Screens go dark, radars blind, radios cut. In that silence, both sides realize whoever controls the signal now controls the fight. High above, an E-2D Hawkeye holds a circle, forcing a picture through the noise for as long as it can. An MQ-25 Stingray drones outward, refueling the strike package. AP-8 Poseidon listens, mapping every ping and whisper. Princeton steadies and shows broadside bait by design. Antennas hum, the hull thrums with power. Somewhere below, a quiet shape slips through black water, eyes on the enemy carrier. The clock starts now. The Bashi Channel is a narrow hinge between seas, but it swings the wider Pacific. Every sunrise, tankers, container ships, and data cables guardians pass this gap with fuel, food, and the chips that live inside your phone. When USS Princeton screens for USS Nimitz, the mission is simple to say and hard to do. Keep the lane open, keep the peace steady, keep mistakes small. If this choke point closes, insurance spikes, shelves thin, and allies wonder who really sets the rules. For Beijing, this same water is a proving ground. The Shandong pushes east with escorts to show that reach equals right. Step by step, patrol by patrol, they test whether American promises are paper or steel. To Washington, letting that test go unanswered would tell every partner from Manila to Tokyo that deterrence is just a phrase. Inside Princeton's Combat Information Center, the red glow feels like wartime, but the fight is mostly math. Signals bloom and vanish, tracks split, merge, then freeze. Growlers smear the spectrum. Chinese systems answer in kind. A single wrong interpretation could turn a rehearsal into a catastrophe. Above, an E-2D Hawkeye keeps a fragile picture stitched together for the carrier group. Farther out, a P-8 Poseidon builds a map from whispers, tracking subs and emitters while pretending not to be seen. The MQ-25 tops up the fighters so the pattern can hold for hours, because fatigue kills judgment faster than shrapnel. Princeton shows broadside on purpose bait that says, "We're here, and we're watching." The message to both sides is restraint. The temptation is escalation. In that space between, history tends to tilt. If you were on that bridge, eyes on two superpowers testing nerve over a lifeline, what would you call? Press 1 to hold the line or 9 to push it. 8:47 a.m. The hum of static sharpens into a pulse. On Princeton's radar, faint echoes reappear, 3, then 5, then 12. Unknown contacts, low altitude, fast. The Combat Information Center snaps alive. Orders fly. Hands move without pause. The battle that began in silence is ready to speak. The USS Nimitz launches another wave. FA-18EF Super Hornets rocket off the deck, their exhaust carving bright streaks across gray sky. An E-2D Hawkeye circles high, relaying fragments through the noise. Chinese J-15 are coming in low, using radar shadows to hide. Princeton's commander doesn't wait. Deploy the Growlers and Stingray. Make them chase us. On the perimeter, EA-18G Growlers open their jammers, flooding the spectrum with digital thunder. Chinese radar screens bloom with false targets. Moments later, an MQ-25 Stingray drifts ahead, broadcasting a carrier-like signature, a decoy, to pull the J-15 off course. In Fujian, coastal radars blink out one by one, power surges, circuits fry. Back on Princeton, disbelief ripples through the crew. The tactic works, no missiles fired, no ships lost, yet the entire battle space bends to American control. Then sonar chirps, a magnetic anomaly, close, too close, sub-contact, bearing 035. Below, USS Virginia rises from the depths, silent and patient. Its surface is just enough to send a coded ping, an underwater flare aimed straight at Shandong. The message is clear. We see you. The Chinese carrier veers off, escorts closing around it. Both fleets hold fire, but the exchange is real, measured in interference, not impact. Princeton steadies, crew still locked in stations. On the horizon, contrails twist and fade. Princeton holds the decoy stance, daring a lock that never comes. P8. Poseidon seeds sonobuoys, building a clear map for the fleet. The Hawkeye loops tight, keeping the network alive. Virginia lingers 7 nautical miles off Shandong, a shadow with teeth. For 6 hours and 40 minutes, the sea stays loud with jammers and ghosts. When silence returns, everyone knows. Control of the spectrum means control of the sea. Logs fill with lessons, learned what bands folded first, which decoys drew bites, which timings cracked the picture open. No cheering follows. Helm holds course, antennas steady. Watch teams rotate, and the chessboard quietly resets. 10:12 a.m. The ocean looks calm, but everyone on Princeton knows better. The battle hasn't ended, it's only shifted layers. Somewhere out there, China's Type 52D destroyer Siamon and her escorts are regrouping, probing the silence for a weakness. Princeton's sensors show faint whispers of radar sweeps from the west, short, sharp, deliberate. They're searching, the EW officer mutters. The growlers climb higher, spreading another wall of noise. Their jamming creates a shimmering curtain over the fleet, but it's a double-edged shield, too much power, and they blind themselves. Princeton's captain calls it tight. Hold output at 70. Let them see shadows, not truth. Across the formation, antennas tilt and lock, like archers drawing invisible bows. Minutes later, the counterstrike begins, not missiles, but data. Chinese systems start to push back with deceptive pulses. Ghost signals of J-15 and drones appear from nowhere, some so convincing they fool the automatic defenses. Princeton shifts frequencies, slicing through false returns, but the flood doesn't stop. They're painting us blind, one technician says, voice flat. For the next hour, the Bashi channel becomes an electronic storm. Every radar pulse meets another. Every spoof meets a correction. P8, Poseidon reports sonar buoys flickering offline, hacked or jammed. The Hawkeye struggles to hold the picture as the air thickens with interference. Princeton turns 10 degrees to starboard, reducing its radar cross-section, tightening its arc of fire. The crew works in half-light, eyes burning, hearts steady. And then, a flicker, just one blip off the bow. A Chinese drone breaks through the static, diving low, metallic glint catching the Sunday CIWS turret snap in unison, tracking but not firing. Hold your shot, the commander says. One wrong burst could set the sky on fire. The drone banks away, vanishing into noise again. For a heartbeat, nothing moves. Both fleets wait, daring the other to make the first mistake. The air hums like a drawn wire ready to snap. If you were in that silence, finger over the trigger, eyes on the horizon, what would you do? Press 1 to hold your fire, or 9 to unleash it. 11:03 a.m. The stillness fractures. A shimmer flashes off Princeton's port bow. No explosion, just distortion. New contact surface reflection. The crew tenses. It's not a missile, but a signal. A sweep of low-frequency radar pulses rolling in from the west. The Shandong has gone silent. No radar, no transmissions. Her escorts move forward, sending time bursts across the spectrum. Moments later, the sea stirs. Dozens of unmanned surface craft appear, darting through the waves like metallic predators. No flags, no codes. Each one returns a different signature, flooding sensors with chaos. Decoys, the intel officer mutters, but some blips are too sharp, too clean. Princeton screens flare red. They're reflecting our own signals back at us, the EW chief says. The captain's voice cuts steady through the noise. Shut down the growlers, go passive. The jammers fade, and for the first time, the air clears. Beyond the static, the P8 Poseidon listens, mapping engine tones and wake trails instead of signals. One by one, the illusions thin. But the drones keep coming, 10, maybe more, closing inside 5 miles. Princeton's CIWS turrets pivot, Tracking, but silent. Activate counterwave, the captain orders. Deep inside the hull, transmitters fire an inverted pulse, electronic shock waves tuned to cancel the attack. On screen, the swarm blurs, splits, then collapses. Half the drones lose control, colliding in sprays of foam. Others drift directionless. From above, it looks like the sea swallowing its own shadows. Inside the Combat Information Center, no one cheers. They just listen to the hum, breathing out for the first time in hours. The storm isn't gone, it's only shifted, waiting in the silence to strike again. 12:41 p.m. The calm doesn't last. Out of the haze, a wall of noise erupts new radar signatures, tighter and faster. Multiple launches bearing 270. The Combat Information Center roars to life. On Princeton scopes, dozens of red icons, blue missiles, drones, maybe both. No one knows yet. Shandong's back online, the EW chief says. Her sensors light up with overlapping frequencies. China's fleet is pushing full power, flooding the air with radar, sonar, and comms. It's chaos, and it's deliberate. Princeton braces. All hands, stand by for impact. The Growlers dive in first, flaring bursts of white noise to split the missile tracks. FA-18EF Super Hornets peel from the Nimitz group, slicing through the haze to intercept. The sky flashes silver decoys, flares, counterjammers all at once. From the deck, the sea glows in staccato bursts, every reflection a possible hit. Inside, the EW officer yells, "We're losing lock!" The missiles aren't just flying, they're thinking. Each one shifts frequency mid-flight, hunting through the interference. Princeton fires SM-2 interceptors, streaks of light arcing across the sky. The first wave collides mid-air, blossoms of static and smoke. A second follows, closer, faster. "Switch to manual," the captain barks. CIWS guns thunder. Brass floods the deck. Tracers rip through the air, shredding drones before they breach the defense ring. One explodes close enough to rattle every bulkhead. Lights flicker. No one moves from station. Virginia, still shadowing the fight below, rises to firing depth. It releases a burst of countersonar that blinds Chinese subs just long enough for Princeton to reset targeting. The P-8 Poseidon relays confirmation enemy torpedoes lost lock. The sea fills with echoes of explosions that never hit. And then, silence again. The radar clears. The screen empties. Princeton stands. 6 hours, 40 minutes since the first signal. No shots at Shandong. No kills on record, but total control of the battle space. In that silence, the captain exhales, eyes fixed on the fading horizon. "Next time," he says quietly, "they won't turn back." If you were standing there between victory and the next war, what would you choose? Press 1 to hold the peace or 9 to prepare for the storm. 18:02 p.m. The sun dips behind scattered clouds, casting long streaks of gold over the Bashi Channel. The sea that looked calm this morning now carries the residue of invisible war-burnt circuits, dead drones, and the uneasy quiet of two navies that almost crossed the line. On USS Princeton, damage crews move in silence, patching hull panels and resetting systems. The smell of hot metal lingers. Below deck, the EW team replays recordings, spikes of interference, split-second decisions, moments where one wrong click could have ended everything. No celebration follows, only quiet nods. They know luck and discipline walked side by side today. Across the strait, China's Shandong heads home, her radar cold, flight deck empty. Officially, nothing happened. Unofficially, everyone watching from Washington to Beijing understands what it meant. For the first time, the US didn't need to fire a shot to win a battle. For the first time, China saw its electronic armor crack. The data will travel fast. Commanders will study waveforms, frequencies, and power curves. Engineers will tweak software, rewrite codes, rebuild confidence. But strategy officers on both sides know the truth today wasn't victory. It was rehearsal. The next encounter won't end in silence. Night falls. Princeton's lights dim to blue. Above, the Hawkeye still circles, just in case. The P-8 Poseidon returns to base, its sensors full of stories no one will tell on record. Somewhere under the surface, Virginia glides home, unseen and undefeated. The message of the day echoes across the Pacific. Control of the spectrum now defines control of the sea. Every pulse, every bite, every line of code is a weapon or a shield. The question isn't who fires first anymore. It's who disconnects the other from the fight before the firing starts. If you were watching this standoff unfold, two powers locked between pride and peace, what would you choose? Press 1 to believe peace still holds, or 9 if you think the next signal will start the storm.